The NARA strength and conditioning workout is a deliberately sequenced and curated set of multi-planula mechanical movement principles that contain elements of mobility, stability, and strength. It is intended to challenge the body, mind, and spirit. It is a sub-maximal workout in the context of loading, although it can be progressed with more weight as adaptation occurs. To amplify the benefits of the workout, you must focus on form and tempo, meaning that your setup must be intentional and your movements slow and deliberate. This will give you the control necessary to access and improve your end range capabilities safely and in a way that maximizes effective breathing techniques in combination with the coordination of tendons, muscles, and the complicated action of joint mechanics during time under tension. It will take effort. Extensive but not exhaustive, this workout is a conditioning module that complements other modules in the series of strength, speed development, speed endurance, power, ballistics, footwork, and technical execution of sport-specific skills. It is designed to address function and fitness and improve cases of knee valgus, scoliosis, weak side bias, physiological imbalance, injury impact, compromising structural weakness, or lack of a focused plan of exercise. The goal of the program is to help mitigate injury, to develop bigger, stronger, faster athletes, and to equip them with the physical and mental resilience to cope with the demands of their sport and to be more available and effective for their teams and coaches. Now let's get into the workout. This first exercise, don't start aggressively, start smooth, kneeling hip flexor. Lengthen these hip flexors out, do 10 on the left, 10 on the right. A progression is to come up off the rear knee into the standing or lunge hip flexor. The next movement we're going to progress into is up arms, down legs. This is a flow movement. Make some effort here to get into end range at both the bottom of the squat and the height of shoulder flexion. The lunge pulse is mechanical for ankle, knee, and hip flexion and extension. Overhead squat is part of our screening. It's a wonderful movement for detecting weak side bias or injury impact. Go slow on this movement and aim for depth. Hip hinge push-up. Make sure you're keeping your elbows fairly close to the ribs on this one, and then as you go back into spinal flexion, spend time back here in the stretch for the posterior kinetic chain. Here you can see keeping those elbows in beside the ribs. That also works on triceps and scapular integrity. Hip lift from the floor will help stretch the hip flexors, but mostly this is aimed at targeting the glute complex. Transition out of this one into side planks for the obliques. Very important for the rib protection. Using a fit ball, once again a flow movement. A push up into knee flexion and extension. Great for core development. Part of the lunge complex is the deceleration or forward lunge. You can weight these movements, as you see here, from overhead, deceleration mechanics going into knee flexion. Single leg hip lift from the floor, once again targeting the glute complex. Reverse lunge, starting at shoulder height. Once again, you can load this. You can see here a nice slow tempo. That's key for the mechanics of this exercise, which is starting to include a lot of the previous exercises. With the heart rate high, go to the floor, hamstring pull in, do 10. A really great hamstring exercise. Working on your lateral mechanics, once again, ankle, knee, hip flexion and extension. Nice slow tempo, and in this example you can see starting to work the shoulders in as well. There's a little bit of core transfer in that demonstration. The shoulder complex with bands in a narrow range of movement is priming for later in the workout when we graduate to dumbbells, but this is a time under tension exercise for the deltoid bulb. Nice slow full range of movement into the shoulder complex, followed up by tricep dips. The tricep responds to a lot of reps, so for this one, do 20. Single leg raise on the ball is much more difficult than it looks. On the left leg in this example, the quad is your stabilizing muscle due to the lever, and you're working the glute of, in this case, the right side. Balance hinge, targeting the hamstring of that stance leg, in this case the right leg. Banded rotation, once again rotational exercise, very, very important to have extensively programmed for a balanced body. Compounding this by rotation on the ball, you'll see in this example, as I get over, I do a hip lift that exaggerates the target muscle group being the core. Balance lunge is a time under tension exercise, once again much more difficult than it looks as it starts to address balance and stability. Nice and slow, go to end range. Here's the graduation from the banded exercises we did previous for the deltoid, in this case anterior, medial, and then moving slowly into the posterior here with full circles, as you'll see in this demonstration. Nice slow deliberate movement, not maximally loaded, but with 30 to 36 reps, it certainly gets you working. From here we go into hip stretch rotation, or if you Google the greatest stretch in the world, this is the one that comes up. It's a really great stretch and it's appropriately sequenced into the workout. Take your time with it, work to end range. Now we're taking the lateral mechanics into some dynamic movement, and in combination with balance hinge, you can see we're starting to pull in stability and balance. Thoracic spine rotation, really important to keep mobility into the spine. Nice slow movement going to end range. Some neck strengthening exercises here. You'll see in this sequence we do the back, front, the left side and the right side. You can see here athletic stance, and I'm trying to keep the chin tucked. As we come out of this one, the left side neck strengthening exercise, we're going into the bent over row. As you're pulling, you can go to a fairly heavy dumbbell for this, or a barbell. This is a difficult exercise, lots of balance and with that Viper Pro bar out front there in the way that I've got it, there's some core integration as well. So there's a lot going on with this exercises that incorporates a lot of what we've previously done in other exercises. Once again, we're going into time under tension in the lunge pose. Take your time with it. Bird dogs done like this with a really strong 3, 4, 5 second hold are quite difficult. Take your time with that as you swap through left and right sides. We're back to targeting the glutes again. Curtsy squats. This is a difficult exercise too. It's going to get the heart rate up. There's a lot going on here. You want to try for flow. Down dog cobra is logically sequenced as you come off that high heart rate exercise into constructive recovery. Sub-maximally loaded, external hip rotation. Pike push-up is a tough one. It really works on rectus abdominis and can use it as a replacement for sit-ups. The posture matrix is a real band burner. 10 face pulls, 10 straight arm flies, 10 overhead reach, and then 10 shoulder presses to finish as a 40 rep set. It's really tough but wonderful for scapular integrity, mobility and strength. It's a really great exercise. Once again, a lot going on. Full body exercise. Quite a high heart rate mitigated by going to your back again for constructively timed hip lift squeeze. Maximum height, maximum squeeze at the top. Banded lateral walks, working the abductors. That is the completion of the NARA conditioning workout.